What's up, everybody? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get a little more light. Hold on. How y'all doing? How y'all living? If y'all see me in the background, I'm just getting a little bit more light. What's up, y'all? Tasha checking in with another video, and this is going to be none other than my weekly hot topics and current events called Tasha's Topics. Okay, if it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like this video, comment in the comment section, and most importantly, subscribe to the Redefine Me channel. We have a good, great time over here. Okay, all right, y'all. So. We about to get started in just a moment with this week's hot topics. We have a lot to talk about. And as y'all know, I take notes. So normally I wanted to be on my StreamYard, and I hope y'all can hear me. I decided to put in my ear pod to give me a more clear and more microphone sounding technique with the video. So hopefully y'all can hear me, but I'm gonna try to give YouTube some time to let y'all know that I am on. However, if the background looks different, StreamYard is having a little issue on my end of the things for just for me. I don't know about anybody else who uses StreamYard, but I'm going to definitely get that together very soon. And yeah, y'all, we were about to get into these topics. All right, so we're gonna kick it off. First of all, I want to say happy Friday to everybody. Welcome to all my new subscribers who have joined the channel. Thank you all so much for rocking with me. Happy Friday. I hope you all are having a awesome, wonderful week. Your girl is a little tired. This week has been a little challenging for me. Work, things like that, and just life stuff. But I'm blessed, highly favored, of course. I'm here and I am with y'all. And that is one of the things that I do love and like to do. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. First thing, excuse me. First thing we're going to kick off is the news update on the high school track star who hit the girl in the head with the baton. Okay, y'all probably have already heard of this, but this is an update on that particular story. Okay, so if you haven't heard of it, if you've been living under a rock, possibly. What's going on, NTB? Welcome to the live. Thank you for liking the video. Sit back, relax. We talking about hot topics and current events. Okay. So if I look over, my computer is up, and I'm giving y'all some notes from these current events. All right, y'all. So, if y'all haven't heard, a Virginia high school track star has been charged with misdemeanor. So, here is the backstory. So, we all saw this video. These two girls were running. They were doing a track meet. It was a championship. They're in Portsmouth, Virginia. Okay, they were running. One of the girls, what's going on? Meldy, I think that's how you say your name. So they're running. One of the girls on the outside was running. The other girl on the inside was running. They're in a track meet. So the girl that was on the inside, she was running, and all of a sudden they were doing a relay, and you had the baton in your hand where you have to pass it off to the next person. All of a sudden, she hits the girl in the head with the baton. Now, from the angle that they gave us, and from what I saw, what a lot of people saw, we are thinking that this girl just beat the girl over the head because she was about to pass her and she was making some strides and everything. And so the girl got, nervous because she wanted to win the race and probably hit her over the head, right? So fast forward, this is what is happening with that situation. So, Virginia high school track star has been charged. Now she's been charged in misdemeanor. At first, they were just wanting an apology. They were mad. The girl's family was on there. What's up, Turtle Lover? The girl's family was on there. And they were saying that she hit their daughter, and there was a lot of stuff going on. The girl that hit her came out and made a video and said she would never do anything like that. Y'all give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Y'all go ahead and like this video up and subscribe to the channel. So we had the girl came out and said she would never do that. So now she's been charged with misdemeanor assault and battery after hitting an opponent runner over the head with a baton during a relay race captured in the video. So there's a video out and it's circulating about the race. Okay. Her name is Alea Everett. She's a senior, and I'm reading the article. She's a senior at IC Norcom High School in Portsmouth. She told NBC affiliate that the incident in the viral video was an accident. So she is telling us that it is an accident. Um, Okay, welcome to the live, everybody that's coming in. Okay, so the sprinter who was struck by the baton, Brookville High School junior Kalina Tucker. So Kalina Tucker is the person that was hit by the baton. She told NBC that she was diagnosed with a concussion and a possible skull fracture. So because this girl has hit her with the baton, now she has a concussion and skull fracture. Okay. Everett has been charged with misdemeanor assault and battery, according to Bethel Harrison, the Commonwealth Attorney for Lynchburg. Okay, so their county is Lynchburg, Virginia. Okay, the controversial moment occurred during the 4 by 200 meter relay final at Virginia High School League Class 3 State Indoor Championship at Liberty University on March 4th. Everett and Tucker was rounding the curve on the track. Now they're just filling you in the details, okay? What's up, Mr. White? Everett and Tucker were rounding the curve of the track and they nearly collided as Tucker began to pass Everett in the same lane. Now, they're staying in the same lane. When I watched the video, they were in different lanes. However, if your adrenaline is running, going, you're running, you could possibly have went into this girl's lane. Now, from the video, I didn't see her really going into her lane, but they were rather close, okay? Everett can be seen pumping her arms while holding a baton, which is following by Tucker clenching her head and falling to the ground. So Everett had the baton. The other, hold on, y'all. So she's clutching her head in pain. The other girl that was holding the baton, we see her striking her in the head. Now, the girl that hit her said that unfortunately, all she was doing was running, and as she was running and pumping her arms, and the baton came down, she accidentally struck the girl. Now, when the girl got hit in the head, we can see her in the video falling off to the side of the track, holding her head. Okay, so this was just a really crazy story. We have to keep in mind that they are children, they are still in high school. However, a lot of people are speculating that this girl did this on purpose. And not only that, a lot of people are saying things like she made a video and said that people are sending her death threats, that she is a kind student, that this didn't happen, that it was an accident, everything like that. But according to the attorneys, they are taking this very seriously because they are charging her with a misdemeanor assault and battery. So we shall see what happened. I will keep y'all updated with this story of um, track the Virginia track high school track stars, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it does not damage their futures. The girl that did hit the young lady, she did say that she's a senior, she's applying for colleges, things like that. And this is just an unfortunate incident. Now, only the only people that know if she did this by accident is definitely the girl. And God. Nobody else knows. She claims that it was an accident. So that's all we can do is go on the fact that she's saying it was an accident. But the video is looking very sketchy as if she did it on purpose. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic, y'all. And that is going to be about Southwest. Um, excuse me, y'all. I'm still trying to deal with this little cough that I have and a cold that I have. So if y'all hear me clearing my throat through the video, my apologies. Okay. All right, y'all. Next topic up. Southwest. Y'all all know Southwest. We love flying Southwest because they have the free check bag policy, okay, with Southwest. Southwest is saying that we love y'all too, but we are ending the free check bag policy, okay? Starting And I'm gonna read this article for y'all. Southwest announced it is ending its long-standing policy of free check bags beginning in May. Okay, so if y'all fly in Southwest before May, y'all can get them free check bags. If y'all fly Southwest after May, they are ending the free check bags. They have had this policy for 54 years. That is a long time. And so they're ending that policy. Some customers, including Southwest Rapid Rewards A-list Premier members and Business Select passengers, will retain the option to check two bags for free with Southwest when the new policy goes into effect. So you're going to have people who are platinum members that are still going to have this free check bag policy. Okay. Um, Let's see. They're gonna, and they also offer where you can choose where you want to sit on the plane. Now, I didn't know this to be true because the first time I ever flew with Southwest was probably like a year or two ago. And when I realized that we could sit wherever we wanted to, that to me was the most uncomfortable flight because sometimes you roll the dice with the seats, right? You don't know if you're gonna get a window seat, an outside seat, or a middle seat if you don't pay extra. And so most of the time, I don't pay extra. It depends on where I'm going, how I'm feeling, things like that. So if I don't pay extra, I end up sitting wherever. But Southwest has it where everybody can sit wherever. So what they do is if you pay an upgraded fee to get on board first, more than likely then people are going to sit up front and then so on. You're going to have people sit in the back. But Southwest is going through some financial issues, in my opinion, because for them to have this policy in place for 54 years, then all of a sudden change it means that they're on struggle bus too. They're going through some issues. So y'all let me know if y'all still gonna ride Southwest. I mean, some people only ride them for the fact that they have the free check bag policy, and now that they're getting rid of it, are you all going to actually fly with Southwest? So let me know in the comments what y'all think. Moving on to the next story. Miss Roberta Flack, y'all know the singer back in the day. Lauren Hill remade her song "Killing Me Softly." Okay, she passed away last month, but they recently honored her at a service where they had celebrities there like Stevie Wonder and Lauren Hill, of course. She passed on February 28th, and she was 88 years old. So rest in peace goes out to Miss Roberta Flack. And that is the story on that one. Moving on to the next story, y'all. Now we have an update on the Caleb Wilson story. Okay, let me get to that story, y'all. We are right here. So y'all know Caleb Wilson is a 20-year-old that attended Southern University, and he ended up passing away due to hazing. Now he was pledging Omega Psi Phi, and he ended up passing away. They made up a story that said he was standing on the line in a park. They were doing some type of set. What they call set means that they show up in a certain type of clothes. They all line up and they do certain things in the form of hazing. So they said that he was standing in the line and he passed out. So a lot of us was side eyeing that story like that just a person just passes out, and then they tried to say that he had pre-existing health conditions, which we found out that that all was fake. So the story, the real story, is that they were in a warehouse and they were doing a hazing ritual, and they were punching the pledgees in the chest. So one of the guys that was arrested first was Caleb McCray. He is a graduate student. Now he's already graduated, right? But he's also in a mega sci-fi. He was the one that landed the fatal death blow to Caleb Wilson, which is crazy that his name is also Caleb. Okay, how ironic. And so he was locked up first. He actually ended up getting out on bond. He got out on like a $75,000 bond. And so I don't understand how he got out on bond. That happened a couple of days ago. He's a graduate student. So, in my opinion, his connections with the Omega Phi Psi Brotherhood allow him to get out on this bond. Because how does a college student that is in graduate school, and we all know college students are not the wealthiest or have the most money, unless you have come from a family that has a silver spoon in his mouth, right? And so he got out the other day on bond. Okay, so the article goes, two more suspects have been arrested in connection with the death of Southern University and A&M, sorry, college student during an alleged hazing incident. Police said Tuesday Caleb Wilson, a 20-year-old junior at the college in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, died following an off campus incident last month, school officials say. Wilson collapsed after being punched in the chest, which I just told y'all, multiple times by pledging to a fraternity, according to Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morris. Okay, a group of males dropped him off unresponsive. Now, this is what happened, y'all. After he collapsed, because they punched him in the chest. He had a seizure and he collapsed. And if y'all hear my noise in the background, that's my air that came on. It's kind of hot here in Georgia. Okay, so a group of males dropped him off unresponsive at a local hospital and reported the collapse after being struck in the chest while playing basketball at a city park. Now, this was the lie that they said, according to court filings. But upon investigation, officers learned that the incident actually occurred in a warehouse in Baton Rouge while he was pledging to Omega Psi Phi fraternity, according to Morris. Okay, one suspect, 23-year-old Caleb McCrae, which I told y'all about, turned himself in to the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison last week with his attorney and has been charged with criminal hazing and manslaughter. Okay, now fast forward, two additional suspects were arrested this week for criminal hazing, a felony. The Baton Rouge Police Department said Tuesday. So Tuesday they arrested two more individuals whose name is Kyle Truman, 25. He's 25. Was arrested in Port Island, Louisiana on Monday. Now, he was arrested Monday by the U.S. Marshal Fugitive Task Force and Baton Rouge Police Department. Violent Criminal Apprehension Team police said. He was extradited to Baton Rouge and booked into the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, police say. It is unclear if he has an attorney. The second person they arrested recently was Isaiah Smith. I'm sorry, this is the third person they have arrested. He is 28. Now, I don't understand why. Isaiah Smith is 28 years old, sir. Now, I'm not familiar with the fraternity and the sorority situations, right? But you're 28. Why are you? And I've heard through the grapevine that a lot of the former members of these fraternities that went to the school will come back and do some type of hazing when they're getting new inductees and pledges. But 28, like, come on. So Isaiah Smith is 28, turned himself in early Tuesday and was booked into the East Baton Rouge Parish prison, police said. A fair bond was set, and his family are going through the process of bonding him out. And so I think Isaiah got a $25,000 bond or something like that. Tuesday evening, hold on, I'm sorry. Fran Borharty said in a statement Tuesday evening to NBC News, and that is his attorney, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Wilson family in this time of mourning. Okay. And so the three suspects allegedly punched some of the pledges with boxing gloves. So they was wearing boxing gloves while the students stood in line during a meeting at a flooding company warehouse on February 26th. According to their arrest warrants, McCrae is the only suspect specifically accused in the documenting of punching Caleb Wilson. Smith held the title of Dean of Pledges and was in charge of the nine pledges in the time of the alleged hazing, according to the affidavit in his arrest warrant. He is accused of punching at least one pledge during the alleged hazing, according to the affidavit. Okay, so this is just a sad story, very unfortunate. Now this young man's life is gone. What's up, Yuli girl? Welcome to the live. Now his life is gone. But they did arrest three people so far in connection with Caleb Wilson's death. This story just registered with me so hard because my daughter's in college and she is about to graduate from her 2 year and now she's about to go into her 4 year. What's up, Janae? Welcome to the live, girl. So this story with Caleb Wilson just really hit home because my daughter, like I said, is graduating from her 2 year. She's on her way to her 4 year, and she, had expressed some concern, she had expressed some interest. That's the word in joining a fraternity, And I have always kind of wanted her to rethink it. At first, I was kind of like, yeah, go ahead, do that. But a lot of these fraternities and sororities are very demonic after doing much research. A lot of these fraternities and sororities don't care about these kids. And it's just unfortunate. It really, really is that he has lost his life and his family and that community is now mourning his passing. And it's just a very sad story. Yuli says, sorry, I've been gone. I've been studying for my, oh, that's cool, medical billing. Okay, certification, child, and exhausted. Oh, I understand, Yuli girl. Congratulations on taking that step. I am going to pray for you that you are going to pass and you are going to get a great career, great job, great financial gain. In Jesus' name, it's already done for you, Yuli. I know it's going to happen for you, girl. Congratulations on taking another step in your career. And I understand how it is to go to school when you have a child because I did the same thing when my daughter was in high school. And it was a challenge, but you can make it through. Oh, yes. Put your faith in God. Absolutely. Absolutely, you're gonna do great. So, yeah, that's the details with the Caleb Wilson story. That's the update I have for y'all. I'm sure other updates are gonna come down the pipe, and I'm gonna definitely be following this story, and I'm gonna come to y'all with the hot topics on it, and I will let y'all know any further information that I do find out about it. I just can't believe that Caleb McCray got bond and actually got out. He was the one that delivered, like I said, the final blow that caused him to pass, according to the police that investigated this story. How the heck is he getting bond? I don't understand that, but I believe that his brothers helped him out in Omega Sci-Fi. But let's move on, y'all. And he got out on March 7th, so he was released on March 7th. Just a sad story, y'all, for real. All right, y'all, let's move on to the next story, and that is going to be about Miss Wendy Williams. So Miss Wendy Williams said, "Baby, I am good in the hood. Okay, y'all are not going to keep me on this guardianship. Okay, child, it is 2025. You would have thought uh hazing would be done. Absolutely, yes, free Wendy. Okay, Wendy says nothing is wrong with me, and her story always made me wonder why. Is she that far gone where y'all had to grant some type of court order guardianship? And then it also made me also wonder why wasn't her son given the court order guardianship? Her and her son to me always had this weird relationship as he got older. Maybe he felt away because she wasn't there. But a lot of these celebrity children end up either being one or two things. They either be mad at their parents because they did not give them the time that they needed, or they end up turning into spoiled brats and want their parents to take care of them until they're old and wrinkly, right? And they want to live off of their parents. So I'm thinking it was the first thing that her son just had an issue with her. But however, let's get into the Wendy Williams story. So she was escorted to the hospital for reported examination of men guardianship. Okay, so the former Wendy Williams talk show host, the article says, has been in a court order guardianship since 2022. Okay, went to the hospital on March 10th after being escorted out of an assisted living facility by police, and later said that she passed a mental capacity test with flying colors. After leaving the hospital, Wendy spoke in her first interview on video, hitting back at her conservatorship. um, yeah, so Williams, and the article goes on to say Williams and her caretaker, Jaleesa Monterizo, I guess that's her last name, who is not connected to the guardianship, wanted her to get an independent medical evaluation. Okay, so the person that's her caretaker said, listen, let's go get an evaluation, see what's going on with you, right? Because they do not believe she needs to be in an assisted living facility, and neither did I. I was like, why is she there? She has previously compared the assisted living facility to a prison due to allegedly isolating and restrictive conditions. The New York Post previously reported that the NYPD has shown up after Williams dropped several notes to read, "Help Wendy." Wow, out of a window. Wow. So she is up in there and she is like, help me because I don't need to be up in here. Yuli says they took advantage of her on the worst time of her life. Yep, this is so messed up. Absolutely. I believe she had like maybe some alcohol issues going on after she found out that her husband had cheated on her, got somebody else pregnant. They went through this divorce, and she still had to deal with the talk show and other things going on. And I believe she started drinking a lot, but I don't think it got to the degree where she needed to be placed in a assisted living facility, right? So during the Tuesday interview, she did with hold on, I'm sorry, out of a window. Okay, saying help Wendy in her assisted living facility. Okay, she did that on March 10th. During the Tuesday interview, she did with Williams on the Breakfast Club. Now she did an interview on the Breakfast Club. Monterizzo clarified that she personally called the police and asked them to conduct a welfare check. She states, I am not incapacitated as I've been accused. And this floor that I live on is the memory unit. Williams recalled telling officers upon their arrival, the people who live there don't remember anything unlike me while I am here. What is going on? It's a cry for help. The police ultimately escorted her from the building into an ambulance that took her to a local hospital. Now, I have so many questions, y'all, right? And if y'all liking the content so far, go ahead and make sure you like this video. Go ahead and make sure you share this video to your folks. Go ahead and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I have so many questions, right? First of all, who put her in this facility? Right? Because she definitely didn't check herself in. From what she's stating, she wants to get out of the facility. So, how in the world did she get in here, right? Um, what else? So it says, yes, while calling into Good Day, New York from the hospital on March 11th, Williams claims that she took a mental competency test at the hospital and passed with flying colors. And also, give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me clearly. I'm using my earbud today because I wanted to give y'all like a kind of a microphone feel and make sure y'all can hear me clearly. So give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Thank y'all so much. So she passed the competency test with flying colors. Thank you, Janae. She passed it with flying colors and everything. And she says, baby, how you doing? Okay. She said, I'm fine. Y'all know that was her tagline. I couldn't wait for her to say that when I used to watch her show. And she's the queen of hot topics. Like, I don't believe that myself or any other content creator would even have the thought to do hot topics. I used to love that segment of her show. Sometimes I would just watch that segment and wouldn't even watch the guest that was on her show. So it's just sad to just see this. Now she has become a hot topic, but obviously for reasons that are false according to her. Okay. What else happened? So TMZ previously reported that she scored a 10 out of 10 on a psychiatric exam on the Breakfast Club. Okay, Monterizzo, which is her caregiver, explained that Williams passed two tests to determine that she has competency and can make decisions. One of which involved 10 questions that she answered correctly. According to Williams, the curies included the questions basically included simple things like who the current president is and when her birthday is. Now they really try and make this lady seem like that she don't know anything and that she's just out of her mind crazy. Because I reported on her on my hot topics before, and when they said her guardian said that she was incapacitated, unstable, and I believe this guardian, Sabrina, her name is Sabrina Morsetti, or whatever her name is. Let me just try. Morsetti. I think that's her name, child. I'll be knowing these names, right? So that is her guardian. So her caregiver said Morsetti was at the hospital and attempted to pervert the test from taking. I'm sorry, prevent the test from taking place. Suggested that the results can be used in court to help Williams' case. Wow. That Sabrina girl, you gotta watch out. Yes, hashtag free Wendy. You gotta watch out for people. Who is Sabrina though? Who the heck is she? Where she come from? Um, let's see. Accompanied by her niece, Alex Fanny, Williams spoke with Entertainment Tonight on March 13th, taking the opportunity to criticize her guardian. Monserrati, Sabrina, I just want to say Sabrina Child. We came back from dinner and apparently police were called because Cortini here was saying that I took my aunt from this facility and whisked her away. So I guess Sabrina called and said that the niece had took her away from the facility. Fanny says in the video referencing the senior living facility where William resides. Fanny said this contradicts Morsetti's Sabrina statement to TMZ claiming Williams is free to leave the facility as she pleases. They are lying to me when they say I can go and do what I want to do, Williams says. This is my niece, Alex. She just flew in from Miami. Okay, I have. Okay, so that's the end of that. They said she was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. Now I don't know if I'm saying that right, y'all. Forgive me if I'm not progressive. Um, okay, and it's progressive, and that was in 2023. And a press release announced last year. However, she later publicly denied the diagnosis and has maintained that she is not cognitively impaired. Sabrina, her guardian, recently affirmed to Vanity Fair that she sees issue with Williams' speech when it's not scripted. Williams scoffed at the suggestion at the Breakfast Club. Now, I mean, Wendy is from New Jersey, right? So she may have like an accent, or she may say little things like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. She may have the slang of the black culture when she speaks sometimes, but that doesn't mean that her, speaking is not able to be understood. So y'all, and this is all coming from an article that I'm reading, and y'all can go and read more of it. But I just want to touch on this story. But yeah, free Wendy because this is ridiculous. Y'all need to really look into the Sabrina, the Guardian, because it seems like that she is sitting up here trying to cash in on Wendy Williams, her coins. Okay, um, but yeah, y'all, that's the story. So hopefully Wendy gets control. And could you imagine not being able to be in control of your own life, finances, if you can come and go, things like that? That would make me upset. And I believe Wendy is she in her 60s? I think she's in her early 60s, if not late 50s. But however, this is just ridiculous. More is going to come out about this story, I'm sure. I'm very, very sure. And it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Her son, in my opinion, needs to step up. He needs to step up. Where the heck are you at, sir? Even if you have some issue with your parents, because parents are not perfect. We all go through some things with our parents. But you don't just abandon your parent and leave your parent. Where is Wendy Williams' son? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I want to know. Why isn't he stepping up and saying, my mom is fine? Release her information. I don't know who this Sabrina chick is, but I'm now taking control over my mom's situation. But anyway, y'all, let's move on to the next story. Really, really sad for Wendy, but praying for you, Wendy, and really hope that she controls guardianship or back guardianship of her life. Next story, y'all, we got some Diddy news, okay? I did not want to bring out no Diddy news. However, here we are with the news on this good old Friday. Okay, so Odell Beckham Jr. and Diddy, Odell Beckham Jr. and Drewski is connected to a Diddy lawsuit of allegations of sexual assault made as of recently. Okay, so the lawsuit goes comedian Drewski and NFL player Odell Beckham Jr. have been included in a sexual assault lawsuit against Diddy. Okay, the latest in more than 100 filed against the rapper entrepreneur, who has been in police custody since September. Drusy and Beckham both denied involvement in the allegation back in 2018. So 2018 is when this happened. Of course, they're going to deny it because who's going to say, "Oh yeah, I was there"? So you could end up going to jail and have some issues, right? So of course they're going to deny it, right? Which includes the victim stabbing Diddy after he and others violently raped her. Now they're saying she stabbed Diddy during this process. Now this is the first time I heard of a stabbing, but let's see what the article says, right? Gunshots being fired in an unclear action. Hold on. Local law enforcement possibly being paid off. There's a lot going on in this article with Drusy calling it a fabricated lie. Okay, so let's read on and see what they're saying. The lawsuit filed in California late Friday. So that may have been some play on words, what I just wrote too, because I'm just like, there wasn't a gun involved. What's going on? But the thing did happen. The the incident did occur back in 2018. Lawsuit filed in California late Friday implicates more than a dozen defendants, including Diddy, Beckham, Drewski, singer rapper Jack Chow, Jaguar Wright, and others. Now, Jaguar Wright been out here on the YouTube streets, on everybody's platform, on their couches, dragging all of these celebrities, Jay-Z, Diddy, everybody in the industry. People, whoever who would listen. She been dragging them, saying how they are crooked, how God going to deal with them, yada, yada, yada. Now her name is being linked to this Diddy case as well. Child, if that ain't just took me out, wow. In an assault on Ashley Parham and two John Does. Parham alleged in a filing made last October that she had been drugged, kidnapped, and assaulted by multiple individuals after Diddy heard her saying she believed after Diddy heard her saying she believed she was involved in a 1996 murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. So the girl said that she heard he was involved, and she said this out loud near him. This amended filing identifies several of the individuals who were allegedly involved. The alleged comment took place over a FaceTime call between Diddy and associate Shane Pierce back in February 2018, and the alleged assault took place at one of the defendants' apartments the following month. Wow, oh wow. In January, Combs filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against several people, including Ariel Mitchell, the attorney bringing this lawsuit in connection with a separate set of allegations. Drewski, who is 30 years old and he's a comedian, denied any involvement in a statement on social media, writing, "This allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't even a public figure in 2018. I was broke, living with my mom without any connection to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation. So the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish." So Drewski saying, baby, I was a nobody, okay, in 2018. So I'm not involved. Now, a part of me wants to believe him for real because I've heard of Drewski, right? I've never watched any of his comedy, but he says it's a lie and the truth ain't in y'all. Okay, if y'all try and blame me. He also goes on to say, "My heart breaks for victims, actual victims of abuse. But I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives." What do y'all think? Y'all think Drewski was involved? I don't know. In a reply, Beckham Jr., 32 years old, wrote in an awkwardly spelled post. Okay, so they say it's awkwardly spelled post. "Boy, I'll tell you what. This world makes absolutely no sense. I am covered by God. He will prevail. I know who I am." The people that copy this is petty because even though he left off some letters on no, he wrote KNO and left off the W. Y'all knew what he was trying to say. But anyway, he said, "I know who I am. I know who you are. Keep your head up. The name will be cleared." Okay. So I don't know. Do y'all believe Beckin? Do y'all believe Odell is involved? Do y'all believe Drewski is involved? At this point, with the whole Diddy cases, I don't know what to believe. Okay, it's just a matter of time because everything done in the dark will come to light, right? So I don't know if Drewski was involved. I don't know if Odell was involved. All I do know is, folks, that if your name is linked to it, listen, how they just out of all the people, why would they just pull Drewski's name out the air? That's what I want to know. Like there's you gotta ask some questions though. Like, yes, you can't just believe everything somebody say because some people do be trying to reach for a payday grab. But you gotta think to yourself, why your name? Why you out of everybody in the industry? Last thing, a local law enforcement Cortera Contessa County Contrera Contessa County Sheriff spokesman Jimmy Lee told KTVU last month that deputies took a report on the date in question, but later determined the claims were unfounded. In a statement to Vanity on Monday, Representative for Combs said in part, this new complaint brought by an attorney who has already been sued for defaming Mr. Combs demonstrates the depraved lengths plaintiffs will travel to gather headlines in the pursuit of a payday. Mr. Combs was nowhere near Orinda, California, on the day Miss Parham claims she was assaulted there, and the Contra Contessa Sheriff's Department has already confirmed Miss Parham's claims were determined to be unfounded following a thorough investigation. Mr. Combs looks forward to having his day in court where these lies and the perverse motives of those who told them will be revealed. The lawsuit describes the alleged incident in gruesome detail, claiming that it took place after Pierce had invited Parham into his apartment. I don't know who is Pierce. I don't know who that is. Asking for assistance with cancer medications that he was too weak to administer himself. He allegedly left the front door unlocked, which allowed Diddy and multiple associates to enter and assault Parham. Diddy had allegedly said at the end of the earlier FaceTime call that Parham would pay for her Tupac comments. Mm-mm. After Diddy and others allegedly assaulted Parham, she left the apartment wearing just a large T-shirt, carrying a knife, and had earlier been used to threaten her. After comments from Diddy and those associates who were casually smoking in the yard, she alleged stabbing Diddy in the back, resulting in gunshots being fired. Okay, so maybe that's what was trying to they were trying to say earlier in the article. Wow, this is wild. Um, it says she escaped that individual, Diddy, and encountered the sheriff's office. Okay, hold on. Let me read this back. In the ensuing confusion, she fled the scene and encountered a man who claimed to be law enforcement official, but was actually one of Diddy's associates and impersonating one. Wow, she escaped that individual and encountered a Contra Contessa County sheriff who she claimed was later handed an envelope which she believed contained cash. Contra Contessa County representative have declined comment according to the lawsuit. So they obviously, she's saying they gave her some cash. Maybe that's why she had come forward at all this time. I don't know. It says Combs, 55 years old, is awaiting trial in New York on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, which has been denied. He has denied. The trial is scheduled May 5th. Y'all think they're going to air this on TV like they did the OJ trial? Child, I hope so. Because if they air the Diddy trial on TV, I want to be at every airing. Okay. Last month, the lawyer Anthony Rico filed a motion to resign, saying under no circumstances can I continue. So I believe that lawyer need to be put on trial too because he probably found some stuff out as well. Y'all know that lawyer of Diddy's that said I can't do this. I can't be a part of this. So we gonna see what happened with this case. You can't take everybody's word, but at the end of the day, you don't know what to believe at this point. Some people are saying, this is false, that is false, but then comes out later that certain stuff has actually been founded to be true. So let's move on to the next case, y'all. Y'all remember AD Love is Blind news? Y'all remember AD from Love is Blind? Okay, so recently there was a post of her getting engaged. Congratulations, AD. She got engaged to Ali, which is another contestant from Love is Blind. And he was in Love is Blind UK. Hold on, y'all, one second. Stay on. It's a little too cold in here. The air was on. So AG from Love Is Blind and Ollie are engaged. He was on Love Is Blind UK. She was on the Love Is Blind the US edition. I don't know how they met. They didn't go into detail, but they are engaged. Y'all know she got hooked up with this horrible dude named Clay, and Clay was a whole hot mess. If y'all had watched the show, I think she was on the show maybe 2 seasons ago. Okay, and so congratulations, AD. So happy for her because when we watched her with Clay, I was just like, this dude is ridiculous because I think he was just looking at her in a sexualizing way. Because she has a nice shape, nice body, and everything, but he wasn't attracted to her. You know, he wasn't attracted to her in the face, I believe. And so I believe he was just sexualizing her with her body. Clay was, anyway, the guy that she ended up marrying or almost marrying a couple of seasons ago. And so he took her through the ringer, the immature man child that he was, if y'all watched the season. But she is now found love and she is engaged to somebody who I believe truly loves her for her and not just looking at her body. And so congratulations goes out to AD from Love is Blind. Next topic, y'all. Happy birthday goes out to Bow Wow. That's his stage name. His real name is Shad Moss. He turned 38 years old a couple of days ago. So happy birthday, Bow to the Wow. Next story up. This was crazy, okay? Secret Service shot a man early on last Sunday, okay? There was a confrontation or something near the White House, and during that confrontation, it looked a little sketchy, and the Secret Service had to shoot the man. Now, the man, he probably got like some type of flesh wound or something, maybe in the arm or leg, because they took him to the hospital, but he's going to be fine. Now, he's probably going to end up occurring, if I say that word right, some charges for jumping up and having a confrontation near the White House. Now, the confrontation had to be something big. They didn't go into detail and say exactly what it was, but it had to be something big in order for him to get shot. Okay, so my feeling is this: he ain't the first one. There have been a lot of people throughout several presidencies that have tried to jump that gate, who have tried to send stuff over the gate, who have tried to do all types of stuff, okay? But one thing is for certain, and this is coming from a Washingtonian, that if you even think you about to get close enough to the White House to do anything crazy, you're going to be shot. You might even be shot and killed, okay? So you need to be careful. Okay, if you're even thinking about doing something like that. Not only that, even when the Capitol story had came out, when they claimed that people had rushed the Capitol, I found that to be very wild. I mean, we all saw it, so it wasn't actually a claim, but I felt like that was definitely a inside job. Okay, and because I lived in DC, born and raised, and I remember when the Congress was in session, you couldn't get close to the Capitol. You were going to get shot and killed. I mean, they have dudes that were walking around with rifles, long rifles across their chest, just walking around freely because you can't even think about getting close. So the fact that all those people were able to just rush the Capitol like that really was crazy to me. And I was scratching my head like, this can't, something ain't right, when I was watching it. But yeah, so the person that tried it at the White House, they got their little flesh wound. They'll be fine. But Secret Service said, we don't have it to do today, sir. You're going to get something in your leg or your arm. Okay? Little pow pow. So anyway, let's move on to the next story. That's what happened with that. If anything else happens, like with him getting charges or anything, I will let you all know. Next story up. Another story from my area, y'all, Maryland. Okay. Hairstylist faces second degree assault charges after dragging a 15-year-old across a salon floor. Did y'all see that video? So apparently the story goes that Jayla Cunningham, Okay, this is the girl that dragged the 15-year-old. Now, Jayla is 18 years old. The client tried to leave without paying for a $150 service, while the teen mom says she accidentally sent the money owed to the wrong account. So apparently, she was trying to cash app the girl, and she sent the money to the wrong account. And Jayla said, okay, so you 15, you should know how to use Cash App. So now I'm about to drag you across this floor because you're playing with my money. But the girl said she made a mistake. This is why it's important for these young adults to understand how to deal with real life issues in the world and have conflict resolution. Because now you drag this girl. Now you're facing charges. And if the charges hold up, which we have a video, and if y'all keep hearing this thing move, I don't know why I feel like it's trying to fall out of my ear. I apologize for keep tapping it, but I'm gonna try to stop doing that. Hopefully it doesn't fall out. However, you got to learn, you got to handle things the proper way. This is why I feel like conflict resolution needs to be taught in high schools, because especially in the generation we live in, because the way to handle things is not always to pow pow or get your fist ready to fight, because that's not always the way. You have to find another way, because you'll end up being in jail, because if you hit somebody they can press charges. So the article says a Maryland hairstyle faces a charge of second-degree assault after video captures her dragging a teenage client across a salon floor for allegedly attempting to walk out on her appointment without paying. Now, I would like to see what happened in the video before she dragged the girl. Yes, Janae, you agree with me? Yes. So I want to know what happened before, because if the girl was trying to get up and leave without paying, and I guess she could have called the police. However, how long would it have taken the police to get there, right? However, you could have asked the girl for her information or something, her address. And when the police got there, sent them to her house to maybe collect payment. I don't know. Something else should have been done in this situation, because now you're facing charges. The stylist is 18 years old, and what she doesn't understand, you're 18, and the lies of the laws of the land, in the eyes of the juvenile, I mean, in the criminal justice system, you're an adult, and they're going to charge you as an adult. Okay, Jayla Cunningham posted the now viral video on March 2nd, and that's another thing. If you come across this live and you are a young adult, you are 18 and in your early 20s, stop posting everything on social media. Y'all don't even let the police have to do any work these days. All y'all do is say, oh, I'm going to post this for clicks and views and likes and all of this other stuff. Everything don't need to be posted. Y'all are making it easy for them to just come and get y'all. It don't even make no sense. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, for business purposes, post some stuff. Yes, the internet is great for business purposes if you have to post something or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, stop posting all this freaking stuff. And the police is just having to follow you and find you, and then they got you. They ain't even got to investigate. And you're making it easy for them to put y'all away because y'all capture everything on video. So it says the now viral video, March 2nd, altercation on, oh, it was posted online, which shows her dragging the young client by her hood, then throwing her on the ground after she allegedly tried to leave without paying, according to Washington, D.C. outlet Fox 5. In the video, Cunningham, who also goes by Jayla Amora on her social media account, can be heard telling her client, sit right here until somebody sends it, seemingly referring to the money for the appointment. Say that they be posting everything. Yes, everything. They post every freaking thing. And the police ain't got to do no work. All they got to do is sit there and follow your Facebook. If they think that you're involved with something, they can just log onto your social media. It's so easy for them to do their job. She told her to sit there and wait for the money. She said, I'm not effing playing. You just try to F and run. You lucky I ain't beat the out of you. And they all bleeping this out in the article, y'all. She then continues as the video footage later shows Cunningham cutting the weave she had installed out of the teenage head. Now, I would say this. You cut the weave out of her head. It should have stopped there. So because she's leaving, she don't have her hair done because you cut the weave out, right? The dragging did not have to happen. Now she was probably mad at that point. That's why she continued to drag her. But you cut the service out of her head. So at that point, it should have ended. You should have been like, okay, well, I ain't got my money. You ain't got your hair done. Get out of my shop, right? After I take your hair out. And she claimed, okay, so she cut the hair out. The stylist said that the service, including the weave, was $150, which was cheap. That was very cheap. $150 for was it a glue in? Because baby, before I locked my hair, I had every style known to man. I've had perms, I've had it natural, I've had sew-ins, I've had glued in, I had braids. Every black woman know what I'm talking about. We have had styles for days, okay? And $150, and that includes the hair. That's cheap. And she claims that if she hadn't dragged the client back inside, she would not have paid for it. The teen's mom, however, told Fox 5 that her daughter had accidentally sent the money to the wrong account and was trying to figure out how to remedy the error. Okay. So then Cunningham goes on to say, forget trash. She ran without paying me. Cunningham told the outlet, I dragged her by her hood back into the salon until I could get paid, until the police come, or until she let. Okay, this is all the girl talking, not me. Okay, so anyway, that's how the story goes. Now the girl is being um now charges are being brought up against her. Um, we're gonna see what happens. Is she gonna? Do y'all think she's gonna serve some time in jail? I don't know. Second degree assault charge. I mean, look like she gonna possibly be in jail over $150. Just you cut the girl hair out. Just leave it alone. Moving on to the next topic, y'all. Gene Hackman. This was just a sad story, y'all. Y'all know Gene Hackman and his wife and the dog was found dead in their home, right? And it was just really sad because his wife was 60 something years old and she had a rare heart disease, and so she unfortunately had passed. And according to the article that I had read, she had passed a week before he had passed. So he was 95 years old, and because he was battling like dementia, they believed that he wasn't mentally capable to understand that she had died and that he needed to get the proper help for her. Okay, and so just sad to know that, and I don't know if he has any children. He probably does, but it's just really a sad story because when your parents get to their elderly state, I believe that children should stay as close as possible to them at that point of their life because they're going to need more assistance, right? And so both of them unfortunately have passed on, but just in such a tragic way to be found in your home like that. Isn't it sad, Janae? Just a very sad story. So praying for their family and everything. And even if a person doesn't have children, something needs to be put in place when you get older. As we're younger, we don't take for granted that, you will get older and possibly live into an older age. And so you need to make sure that certain things are in place. Who would be your caregiver? And if that person is unavailable, who would then step in? Or do you want a caregiver? What is the whole totality of your life once you become older? Making sure your finances are in place, like a will, basically, making sure everything, or as something before a will, really, because a will goes into effect when you die. But there are people who have living wills too. So, yeah, a living will to make sure that in the event that you get older and maybe you're not in your right state of mind, that you can properly be cared for. And so that's just, very sad story about Gene Hackman and his wife. Moving on to the next article, y'all. The member in the group Tony, y'all remember Tony? It feels good. Yeah. Y'all remember that group back in the 90s, right? Okay, so member Dwayne Wiggins, he passed away battling a fight with bladder cancer. Okay, so he was how old was he? Was he 54? I think he was 54. I don't want to look it up right now, but I think he was like either 54 or 64. I think he was 54. But rest in peace to Dwayne Wiggins, y'all. And pray for his family in this time, because no matter what kind of cancer you have, whenever you're battling cancer or anything of that magnitude, it is rough. I can only imagine for the person and for the family. So the member Tony Dwayne Wiggins has passed away, and he had bladder cancer. Janae says I think he was in the 60s. Yeah, so maybe he was 64. Maybe that's what I was reading. But yeah, so he is passed on. One of those members. Next story, y'all. So we are facing, and this is allegedly, because our government always be doing this little yo-yo effect. Let's do these with their emotions. And so they are saying on Friday, which is actually today, that the government is supposed to face a shutdown if the Congress doesn't come to some type of agreement. So, in the article that I read, they are saying that the Democratic side is dragging their feet on potentially extending the funds for the government until September. Now, we don't know who's lying, who's telling the truth. Whenever you get in politics, it's a nasty game. A lot of people want to make themselves look good and come out on top. However, they are saying that a potential government shutdown could have been today. Now, I haven't seen anything on no other articles about it. However, I want to keep my ear to the streets, and I am going to let y'all know if that actually did happen today. Y'all can drop in the comments if y'all know if it happened today. But I don't know, and I'll let y'all know. Moving on to the next story. Y'all remember the lady I told y'all about that abandoned her kids, or that we learned about, and I did a video on my page about it, just separate. Abandoned her kids in squalor conditions. So she is facing a new charge. Okay, now it ain't bad enough that you already abandoned your kids for 4 years in squalor conditions. Now you facing welfare fraud charges. Okay, what did it say? Prosecutor Karen McDonald announced welfare fraud charges against Kelly Bryant. That's her name. So the chick was scamming the system too. Okay, McDonald said Bryant collected almost $30,000 from the state over 3 years on behalf of her children. She just trashed all the way around. Okay, she's 34 years old. She already locked up for abandoning her kids for what was it, 4 years in squalor conditions, and now she's facing a new charge of welfare fraud. This lady ain't never getting out of jail. She ain't never getting out of jail. And this is why I feel like the system needs to make sure that they keep up. Yeah, $30,000, Janae. They need to make sure they keep up with these people who are on government assistance. Because if you do not report that you got a new job, if you don't report that something has changed in your living situation, in your financial situation, or what have you, they will catch you eventually, and you will end up paying for your deception. Um, McDonald said Bryant started collecting money from MDHHS. So I guess that's their government over in Michigan in January 2022. She continued collecting money through February 2025 when she was arrested. According to the prosecutor office, Bryant received $29,397 from the state for those 3 years. Welfare fraud over $500 brings a punishment up to 4 years in prison and or a $5,000 fine. So in addition to whatever years she's going to get for leaving her children at that house in squalor conditions, she's also going to get another 4 years, because they're not going to ask her to pay $5,000, because of course she ain't got it. But she's going to get 4 years in prison. Now here's an update to her case as well. Remember, she got that huge bond from that judge for $250 million. And I was just like, you know what? Yes, throw the book at the lady, but you already know she cannot pay no $250 million bond, judge. And I think the judge was just trying to make a point and just be, that way towards the lady, right? And she does deserve whatever, but come on, judge. So, update to that. Her bond was actually reduced. It was reduced to $50,000 on Friday. Now, either way, the lady ain't got $50,000. And that's what this other judge that reduced the bond was saying. Bond is not meant to be a punishment. The punishment is going to come with the trial when they find you guilty and sentence you. The bond is supposed to allow you, I guess, time to get out, maybe to prep for the case and things like that, right? And so even with that though, $50,000, she don't got that, I'm sure. Um, yeah, so that's the update on this lady. She faced child abuse charges on February 19th. The children was found on the 14th. We already know that. And yeah, we'll see what happens with her. But she got new charges. She got new charges, but her bond was reduced. So I'll let y'all know what happened on the update with that. And let's get on to the last case. All right, y'all. The last case, another mother. Y'all remember the lady that left her, that was living out of her van, where kids froze to death. Her two kids froze to death, and they passed, unfortunately. So check this out: a warrant request was submitted in her case against her. Okay. It says a warrant request has been filed by Detroit police in the case of two children who died in the parking garage of a casino. Police submitted the warrant request, which is not a filing of charges, to the prosecutor office. Okay. The Wayne County prosecutor will ultimately make the decision on the charges. So what they're saying is that they didn't actually freeze to death. That wasn't the reason they died. They actually died of carbon monoxide poisoning. So they died because of her leaving that car on, and it probably was a beat up, beat down van that had issues. And the fumes was probably, because the car was on, the fumes was probably rising up, and you having to inhale that night after night or whatever, however long they were inhaling it, and it led to their death. Um, Let me see if they say anything else about it. It says officials believe that two of them froze to death, but medical examiners confirmed on Tuesday that the two children actually died, like I said, from carbon monoxide toxicity poisoning. Um, what else they say about it? I think that's it. That's all they have about it. But yeah, so because of that, she's going to face charges. Now, I don't know. I'm torn. Like, should she face charges for carbon monoxide poisoning? Yes, it's unfortunate that her and her kids had to live in the van, but it's not her fault. She had a beat up van and had to live in the van. And that's how, unfortunately, they died. In my opinion, and y'all could chime in, um, she had to be in this position because she didn't have nowhere to go. So she was living in her van. But I don't believe she purposely caused him to have monoxide poisoning. That she didn't do it. The van was probably beat up, and that's what happened. And unfortunately, the children met their demise due to that. So it's like it was an accident because of the vehicle, not because she went and actually caused them to have poisoning. But I guess they're saying because it was her van, she's facing charges. Um, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but I don't think she should be brought up on charges. She claims she reached out and tried to get help, and we know the whole story that no one would help her. Not even the dad and his family. People are saying are torn between that. I still feel like the dad and the family could have done more, because if you were in your child's life the way you needed to be, then you would have knew their living situation. If you were seeing them like you were supposed to be, you would have saw that they maybe had a smell to them or wasn't as clean or whatever. Yeah, and I don't want to point the fingers and be blaming people in this situation, but I'm just saying sometimes the mothers end up getting a lot of flack when kids end up being unruly or end up being unkept or something ends up happening. But they don't think about the fact that in this society of today and living, taking care of yourself is a lot when things are so expensive, let alone taking care of multiple children, right? And so you have to take into account the mental capability of a woman. She has to be on all cylinders. If you're a single mother, you can't have a moment of breakdown or cry in the room or whatever. You can, but you got to hurry up and pick it back up. But society sometimes put a lot on the woman when it comes to the children. And maybe it's because we birth the children, we carry the children, everything like that. So they're expecting for our maternal instinct to kick in and just, obviously do the best for the children by any means necessary. But she could have been dealing with depression. Her mental state could have been off. Anything could have been going on. But for the father and his family to not be in close contact with the children, and they was living in that van for how long? How long did it say they was living in that van? I think it was for some months. Let me see if they say, because they did give a background. Da, da, da. Okay, hold on. Let me see. They were living in that van for a little bit. They didn't put it on here. I can't remember because I reported on a story a while back, but they was living in the van for a minute. And if you are an involved father, you should have known they was living in that van. But again, a lot of the times, and I'm not excusing the mom, but a lot of the times with women when they have children and they're a single mother, the world expects for them to be all hands on deck and not have any moment of depression, mental stress, or anything. You just gotta be a mom. Now I'm not talking about these that mom that left her kids in squalid conditions. That's horrible. I'm not talking about other moms that abuse their kids and things like that. I'm talking about everyday, regular, smuggler moms that go through it. You may not always have the money. You may not always have the food. Where does their help come from? And what if, and you can say that, oh, get on government assistance. Well, it depends because if you make too much money according to the government, they won't give you government assistance, right? So it's a lot, sometimes to be a mom. And again, not taking nobody's side or excusing, any of these stories because you gotta just get up, dust yourself off, and make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? We know people who have come from single parent household, me included, and we have seen mothers work two jobs. We have seen mothers do they have to do sacrifice for their children, and they make it do what they do. They raise their children, and life goes on. But everybody's not the same, and so sometimes me as a person, I just like to give people grace because I don't ever like to judge anybody because I don't know. I was raised by a good mom and I was a good mom to my daughter, but I could have been on the opposite side of the spectrum. I could have been raised by a bad mom. I could have myself been a bad mom, so, and you just don't know why people end up going this route and end up being in these situations. Things happen in life. And we can't just be so quick to point the finger and say, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. But what we have to do is put the love back into our community, put the care back into caring for one another and people. Because if you see a mom that's struggling or you see something going on where you can be of service, like for example, if you're in a grocery store, a mom in front of you and she is short $3, on her grocery bill. You're behind the person. If you got $3, give her $3. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying by just helping out. I have done this several times. If I had extra money on a gift card that I had, or I had extra money in my pocket and someone was in front of me or whatever, I just give it to them, be like, hey, I don't need this, or hey, I got an extra whatever you need this. You just never know the difference that you're gonna make in someone's life. Like pay it forward type of thing. And so with her situation though, now the squalor mom, she deserves to be locked up. She deserves to get what she get. But this particular mom right here, I'm torn in how I feel about this. I don't know if she should necessarily face charges because of this. Because I mean, it was an accident. If well, the examiners say they died because of the carbon monoxide, but it was an accident. The van was old and jacked up probably, and they probably inhaled it from that. Now, if another story comes out saying that she actually played a part in making sure that they were poisoned in some type of way, then I would definitely come out and I will give y'all an update on that. But y'all, in my opinion, I don't think she should be charged. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. The replay watchers, let me know what y'all think. But that's the end of my stories, y'all. We talked about a lot. We talked about a lot of hot topics, y'all, today because there's a lot going on in the world. There's just a lot going on in the world, and I haven't even touched on like world news that's going on the political point. Because I've been keeping my ear to the streets with some of the political stuff that's been going on with these other countries, with the tariffs, with the nuclear weapons that are said to be had in these other countries. Kim Jong Un has been testing apparently some nuclear weapons. So we living in a very, very scary time, y'all. But do not be scared, because God is in control. I want to leave y'all with that. I don't want nobody, because I made that comment, start freaking out. Be encouraged. God is in control. Okay, no matter what happens, He is going to take care of us, and everything is going to be okay. Just be comforted, be confident, and comforted in knowing that. But I don't know if I even want to get into talking about the politics and everything that's going on in the world, because there it was another story that I heard about that was very unfortunate, that happened in the Congo, where a lot of Christians, I can't remember the exact amount, but they were beheaded because they were Christians, right? And so the Bible does tell us that, you will be persecuted for your faith. And I'm just paraphrasing, because it doesn't say that verbatim, but there is a scripture that speaks on that. But that is a sad, sad story. And what's crazy is that if you don't know about that story, you wouldn't have known about the story, because they don't put that in the news that we come across on a daily basis. But if you go digging in some of the world news, there's a lot of things going on in the world that we don't even know about, like in other countries and things like that, that could possibly affect us. And so you got to just, read and keep your ears to the streets about certain things. But sometimes people don't like to get into those type of conversations, because it can cause you to, be very emotional. It can cause you to think about some things that are sad and everything. And with everything going on in people's personal lives, nobody wants to garner up sad feelings. And I understand that, but I just like to be abreast in certain things that's going on. So, but those are some of the little light, quick little stories that was out there. But yeah, y'all, those were my topics. We talked about a plethora of things. Thank you all for joining me. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and share my videos. And also, if you're subscribed to the channel, make sure you click the notification button. Now, even if you already subscribed to me, make sure your notification button is on, because I've heard through the YouTube streets that some people notification bell is going off or something, like it's not hit anymore, which I think that's weird. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know if that is YouTube doing that, or what's going on. But make sure y'all notification button is on, so y'all can know when it is that I go live. I'm gonna be live again on Sunday, y'all, doing a story time for y'all. I'm trying to figure out which story time I'm gonna tell y'all. We will be back doing Love After Lockup review. It comes back on March 21st. I was going to review Real Housewives of Atlanta, because that's back on, but I watched the first episode and I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I can't do it. I said, it's too. I love it for, I guess, the entertainment of it, and I really love it when they get into what they do for business, because I'm an entrepreneur that is going to have several successful streams of income. I'm speaking it, I'm claiming it, it's going to happen. So I love watching the shows like that, when they get into what they do for business, when they show them in their business, boss woman. But when they get into that petty, stupid stuff that they have to put in because they want to garner the ratings, I can't do it. A part of me is still torn, because I put a poll on my community wall, and I have like 50-50. Some people is like, leave it alone. Some people is like, I'm sorry, y'all. I went black for a moment. I think that was somebody trying to make a day. It was somebody trying to call freaking telemarketers and stuff, man. I don't want it. And I block these people all the time. And all they do is find a different number to call from and keep calling. They need to figure out a way to get rid of them. Anyway, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Sorry, y'all. Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm torn. I don't think I'm going to review it. After watching the first episode, I was going to review it, but then when I watched it, I was just like, I can't do it. I no. I don't really like the cast that they had this season. so far, it seems like it's going to be some unnecessary petty. I mean, some cute little petty and shade is cool, but I don't know. The jury is still out. Now, maybe if I watch the second episode and it seems like it's getting juicy enough for me to review, maybe I will review Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments if I should do it or not. I'm still torn. Janae says I plan to do a recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta, just haven't had the time. So okay, record yet. Okay, Janae. Well, when you do it, girl, I'll definitely watch. When you do it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet. I gotta decide. I gotta decide because Portia on here is trying to act like she is damsel in distress. She had been shedding a tear because her marriage didn't work out. You said I should do it. Um, yeah, I might go ahead and review it. I'm gonna start with episode two though. I ain't gonna do number one. So I'm probably gonna add Real Housewives of Atlanta to my because this is not my regular day that I do my hot topics. My regular day is on Wednesday, and it's funny because I actually did record the hot topics. I went live the other day, but the video didn't upload, so I had to do it all over again. So I probably use Friday. Um, no, they come on Sunday. So maybe I'll do it on Monday, do the review. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. But Portia killing me. And I used to love Portia. I don't hate her because of course I don't know her. But I used to love her as a person. Like she seemed like lighthearted. She was a little ditzy, you know what I'm saying? Like she not as not the smartest or the sharpest tool in the box, right? Portia. However, I used to love her, but now it just seems like that she is going around being this black widow and just sitting up here trying to get with men for the money. And then want us to feel sorry for the fact that her marriage didn't work out. Child, everybody knew your marriage wasn't going to work out to this man. And then on top of that, on my hot topics, the last one I did, Simon Tell he ain't even got his papers together. So how you illegal and you all up on TV and stuff on Real Housewives and on Portia Family Values? Y'all know she did that show, and you ain't even a citizen. Child, he on there showing ICE where to find him and where to send him. And I'm just kind of like, and then they got this lady on there who is married to the ex football player. I can't remember her name because there's a lot of new faces. And doesn't she seem like she's old or older, too old to be on the show with this cast of women? I don't know. I don't know. This cast is very weird to me. Like they tried to show how they all were connected, but I don't know. And then of course we got Kenya that's on there. I don't care what nobody say. Kenya can be a lot and too much, but I like Kenya. And I love her daughter. It's so cute, baby Brooklyn. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I might review it. I might review it. Anyway, y'all, let me get off of here. I've been on here for a little minute and we've been talking about hot topics. If this is your first time joining me, like I said, go ahead, like this video, comment in the comment section what hot topic hit you the most, or if you have any informational updates that I did not bring out about the hot topic. Her name is Angela Oakley. That's her name. She's married to a retired NBA player. Yes, I do not know how old she is, but she probably as old as Kenya. Probably or Cynthia. I think so. I think so. But I think her with the other girls, it doesn't seem like she don't fit. Like the other girls are younger. Like I know me and Portia, I believe, are the same age. I believe, yes. I believe so. Um, I don't know. For some reason, she just looks older, and she looked like she should have been on the show maybe when Nene was on there and Phaedra was on there, and the good old days, like the old Candy even was on there. Like she seemed like she would have maybe gelled well with that crew. But it was the first episode, so we shall see. But yeah, I don't know, child. We'll see. We'll see. But I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining me. And Janae, I would definitely be watching your content. If y'all do not know, Janae, that is in the comments, Replay Watchers does have her own YouTube channel. So go over there and subscribe to your girl. And I'm going to be watching more of your content. But Janae, I don't even be when I don't get your notifications when your content pops up. And when I do see it, that's why I'm gonna go back and make sure that my notification bell is on for your channel. Because when I do see it, by that time I'm either asleep from work or something has happened or time has passed. I don't know, but hopefully I get more of your content to pop up. Yeah, she's a little out of place. Absolutely. Okay, so it's not just me. So hopefully I see more of it, but I'm gonna double check and make sure my notification bell is on for you. You are so welcome. I think just all small YouTube content creators, we should just gather and follow each other, watch each other, and just get to this monetization. That's in my opinion. But we gotta just keep being consistent, and it's gonna happen for us. But I love y'all so much, and I thank y'all for joining me. Let me go get ready for work, child. All right, I love y'all. Happy Friday, y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon.